Exciting day with Dave Rice being named the new head coach of the Running Rebels. Congratulations on what I think is a hire that's going to excite people in the community.
David, I appreciate that. You know, the amazing thing, and again, a lot of emotions in both ways, a lot of emotions in many ways, but kind of at the end of the day, it needs to be about UNLV, it needs to be about Rebel basketball, and quite candidly, that's what Dave Rice is all about. And simply put, right fit, right, and so on and so forth. But that's what it needs to be about.
You know, one thing we saw right before the press conference took place, we know Jerry came out in print, Jerry Tarkanian came out and said, I think Reggie should get the job. Well, the first guy to show up today, before anybody else arrived in this room was Jerry Tarkanian. So that speaks volumes about keeping everything together here.
Yep. Dave, that's a great comment, and you know what? That says an awful lot about Dave Rice, but it also says a lot about Jerry, too. It really is. He's a really wonderful human being, and obviously the basketball tradition here is so much of what he started and created in that. And that's what I think Dave really brings to the table, and others as well. I'll tell you, this is an exciting day for UNLV, and I feel really good about that. I'm glad this is over. I don't want to do this again, ever. But hey, it's Monday, April 11th, 2011. Go Rebels.
What was when Lon got incredible offer, and it was just a sensational offer from Oklahoma. I know he turned him down a couple of times, but basically they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. But were you like, hey, what just happened?
Yeah, you know what? Linda and I were getting ready to get on a plane when I got the call from Lon to go to Houston for the Final Four, and we hadn't been the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I was busy hiring a basketball coach at Arizona. Last year, I'd only been here 3 months, and so we were just engaged in terms of trying to do a lot of things. So that kind of came out of left field there, and I absolutely understand why Lon and Barb went to Oklahoma. Joe Castiglione, the AD at Oklahoma, has been a dear friend for, I'm going to guess, 25 years. So we do a lot of things with he and his wife as well. So a great person, and Oklahoma's Oklahoma. They have some deep pockets, and that's a compliment, not a criticism. But David, in this profession, there's always capabilities and always possibilities somebody's going to move. And so when that happened, I know, and I really thank my wife for this, because it really changed her plans in terms of going back, because we have a lot of friends. We have a lot of meetings at the Final Four in terms of basketball committee alumni group we're part of and all that, a lot of CBS people and so on. So it changed quite candidly. Getting on that plane was a different 2.5-hour plane ride going to Houston than it was going to be. But as you've told me many times, and I've told probably you, it is what it is.
Yep. How long did it take to find out that guys like Dave Rice, Reggie Theus, and Ernie Kent, and Mike Dunlap were interested in this job? Because that's a pretty good quartet right there.
It's a great quartet, and I think I don't know that everybody, Dave, understands how good Mike Dunlap is and how good Ernie Kent is. They are outstanding people and outstanding coaches. But it didn't take long. I think the people in Las Vegas would be pleasantly surprised and very, very, very pleased if they knew how the esteem that this community is held in, that the university is held in, and how many people really wanted to be part of running Rebel basketball. It didn't surprise me, because over the last 15 months I've been here, this is an awfully good place. It's an awfully good school. And quite honestly, at the Final Four, we could never stop counting in terms of how many people were calling that had interest in this job.
How tough was the decision?
Very tough. All decisions are tough, because any decision you make, particularly as it comes to this, in some way that you're making it possible for somebody to maybe create a dream, and in some context maybe you're stopping somebody else's dream. That's not why I got in this profession. That's not what I do, what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, you have to make decisions, and you have to make tough decisions, and you full well have to know that not everybody's going to be happy with those. That doesn't make me feel good, but I think I've grown over a great number of years to not internalize that too much, even though suggestions have been made of my ancestry on several occasions, and certainly the old short walk, long walk, short piers type things. But that's just the way it is. That's kind of an athletic director really has had a pretty good day when you can get about 51% of the people thinking you've made okay decisions for that day. Just that day, not week or month, just that day.
Jim Livengood's the AD at UNLV, and he's been a busy man the last couple of years. A new football coach who has impressed everybody he's had contact with, a new baseball coach, and holy cow, has the baseball program taken off in a hurry. And by the way, we're going to get out to a game and do a live broadcast from there sometime in the very near future. So we'll keep you posted on that, folks. And now the basketball program, look, it was in great shape with Lon Kruger. Some people are going to say this is even better because now we've got one of our own coaching the team, and he has made no secret right from the outset. It's going to be the Running Rebels.
It is going to be the Running Rebels, Dave, and I think that's what excited. David did such a phenomenal job with our team last night of talking about style of play. Fans, players, recruits, people love the style of play. If anybody's watched BYU play over the last 3 or 4 years, they've really seen what Dave Rice is all about in terms of style and play. Sean Miller, who I hired 2 years ago, had a great conversation Saturday with Sean, and Sean was saying, Jim, people don't know how good a coach Dave Rice is. And he said, I've talked to him on a number of occasions. He said that we don't play anybody. He said Washington, the Huskies might have been close to that, but we don't play anybody that gets it up and down the floor. And not always, and this is not a criticism of BYU, but not always with the greatest of athletes, just plain get out. And that and the fact of Dave, it's all about them. It's all about the players.
Just a couple of quick hits, Jim. Dave Rice, in effect, was a head coach for a while under the worst circumstances because, it was a pretty scary situation with Dave Rose with cancer diagnosis, and Dave had to take over the program. How much that even though it was a brief amount of time, his ability to keep things from getting askew there, how much of that was played into this?
I think, Dave, those are always factors in that. People have asked this. I was not worried ever about the fact he hadn't been a head coach. He's been a coach for 19 years, almost 20 years. He's been around some really good coaches. I've hired assistant coaches in the past. I've hired head coaches. I think it really more is warranted by the situation in that. So that was never a factor. I think there are some days when head coaching experience probably is overblown. There are days when it's underblown too. Believe me, it goes both ways. But that was never a factor, the fact that he hadn't been a head coach. That experience right there during that real tough period for Dave Rose was part of it. But the other part of it, even when Dave was back, Dave Rose, when you watch Dave Rice work, he's an integral. He is not just somebody, and watch him work in practice, he is somebody who is integrally involved in that program, both in recruiting, he's a recruiting coordinator, but also in terms of how they're coached. So that's not been a worry from day one. It's not been a worry today that he's not been a head coach.
Jim, last thing, let me get a little off topic here, but it has to do with something that basically everybody in the community is excited about and they want to know more. Any new developments with the stadium?
Very positive. Obviously, it has some issues in terms of with the state, which are moving forward. But at this point, we just had a meeting last week. In fact, a week ago tomorrow, with a number of the principals involved. And David, all positive. Positive. So, like most things in life of that magnitude, you need to go through hoops and you go through steps. All of those things are being done right now, but I'm incredibly, that's an understatement. I'm incredibly excited about the possibility.
Congratulations on another great looking hire, Jim.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Thanks for what you guys do.
We like doing it.